as well.
Thank you, Governor. And with that, make sure we get started here. So here's just a quick overview of Hurricane Laura. It is currently a strong Category 3 at landfall. It will be forecasted to be a Category 4, as the Governor had mentioned. I'm going to go through each of the individual threats, talk a little bit about them, and some of the local pieces, especially dealing with Cameron and Calcasieu parishes. So here's the current track from the National Hurricane Center. You'll see right now, the thing that I want to point out is, see the two little circles that are on the map around the X. Those are the current tropical storm and hurricane force wind fields. I bring these up because this is a very large storm. A lot of times people get enamored by what's in the cone is where it's most dangerous. And this is a great example of that's not always the case. With this being a large and deadly storm, you can see the tropical force winds are already almost reaching to the southern Louisiana coast. And the hurricane force winds at landfall will likely extend out more than 60 miles. So you don't have to be right near the eye, you don't have to be right near the center line to see significant winds from the storm. Again, as it mentioned up there, it looks like it's going to make landfall with winds of near sustained levels of 145 miles per hour, with gusts up to and over 170 miles per hour. I don't know if anyone has seen that type of damage locally in quite some time. A good example of what the winds can do would be a recent example of Hurricane Michael, though it was upgraded to a Category 5. Understand that it had amazing damaging winds in almost a 20 or 30 mile wide stretch that reached inland all the way from the Florida coastline into Georgia. So I think folks in southwestern Louisiana and western Louisiana need to understand the wind threat here is serious. Speaking of that, again, the tropical force winds will cover a huge portion of the state, could linger from anywhere near the Atchafalaya Basin, Baton Rouge area, and extend well into Texas, well off to our west. Again, this is a very large wind field with this storm, so there will be even impacts further away from the main area that we'll be talking about here in just a bit when it comes to the unsurvivable storm surge. When you look at the hurricane force winds, it's expected for those to extend maybe as far in as Alexandria, as far to the west as Lufkin, Texas, and make its way right to the doorstep of Shreveport. So again, we're talking a large area of hurricane force winds possible across southwest Louisiana, and I think the damage from this will be unfortunately devastating at a level that a lot of people will not be able to recognize the areas that they live in if these winds are realized for this forecast. Storm surge, as the Governor mentioned, these numbers are unimaginable. To think that there would be a wall of water over 2 stories high coming on shore is very difficult for most to conceive, but that is what is going to happen as we move into the early morning hours tonight into Thursday. There will be a wall up to 18 to 20 feet at the highest point. Most likely, as you can see in this map here, zoomed in to Cameron and Calcasieu parishes, that the majority of Cameron Parish will be underwater at some point. And, that is very troubling in the least. The red areas are 9 feet or greater of inundation. So I want everybody to kind of get a look at that map and understand what I'm saying here. So you see almost the entire parish shows possibly 9 feet of inundation from Hurricane Laura. That works its way well in to Calcasieu Parish. And there'll be places within Lake Charles that will see flooding that has not seen flooding before, neighborhoods, businesses. The one thing that I want to point out from this is, again, that is if the track holds exactly as we see it. The strongest surge will be dictated by that track, but as we look at it right now, this is the most dangerous zone to be in when it comes to storm surge. And the word unsurvivable is not one that we like to use, and it's one that I've never used before. So this is what's most likely the worst case for southwest Louisiana. As we branch out, though, I do want to show that, again, this storm has wide sweeping impacts well outside of the most dangerous zone that we just talked about. There will be life-threatening storm surge as far east as Morgan City. So even interests that far east, people that far east, need to be concerned if you have anything to do with what's going on at the coast right now. And there'll even be some coastal flooding and some issues of a more minor nature across southeast Louisiana and into the tidal lakes. Unfortunately, the maps that I showed you do not account for rainfall. Those are just storm surge. So on top of the inundation that is possible from Hurricane Laura as it comes on shore, we are looking at up to 10 with localized amounts of 15 inches of rain possible along the coastal areas of the state. So you throw all that fresh water on top of the seawater coming in, again, you can imagine the picture that this may paint. Inland, as far north as Shreveport, flash flooding will be possible. So again, all portions of western Louisiana need to understand that the heavy rainfall can create quick flash flooding. And as the governor mentioned earlier, if you are trying to travel in the heart of this storm, you are putting yourself and whoever's in that vehicle definitely at risk. And with that, I'll wrap up my comments and switch it over back to the governor. And before I do, I just want to double down on his comment about Rita. It is something that a lot of people will use that as their baseline. And I just want to kind of mention it again, that there is no way to be certain that if you live through Rita and that you're hunkering down today in an area that there was an evacuation notice, that you will survive. And so please, as the governor mentioned, the Weather Service recommends everybody follow all local officials when it comes to evacuation notices. Thank you.